Hi guys, welcome back, and today we're looking at the last modal scale, which is called the Locrian scale. So let's write this down. Locrian, L-O-C-R-I-A-N, and the degree is the 7th degree. Okay, so that puts us right here. In this case of C major scale, it's the B, okay, and importantly and crucially for this mode, it's a diminished mode, okay? So it's based on a diminished chord, and therefore it's a diminished mode. So it sounds very, very dark, very dissonant, like the diminished chord does. And therefore it's got very, very specific uses. This is not one that you'll, just randomly come across because, how often do you use a diminished chord? Let's start with that. So therefore, how often are you going to use a diminished scale? Or sorry, I should say a Locrian scale based on a diminished chord, okay? So its uses are not as common as maybe all of the others, but certainly if you're playing jazz, if you're playing metal, like some heavy metal, you're going to use the diminished chords a lot more, and therefore you're going to really get to use the Locrian mode, okay? But for now, for the sake of completion, we will put them all together. So the Locrian, in terms of its actual spelling, so its scale spelling, its formula, is going to be very much like the diminished, okay? It's going to have a lot of flats. In fact, it's going to look like this. It's going to have the root, the flat second, the flat third. It's going to have the 4, the flat 5, the flat 6, and the flat 7. So we've got everything flattened basically apart from the root and the 4th, okay? And if we just have a look at that, if we think about our diminished chord, in a diminished chord we've got a root, a flat third, and a flat 5th, okay? In our minor 7 flat 5 chord, so our diminished 7th or half diminished, we've got the root, flat third, flat 5, flat 7, okay? Now we just add these extra flattened notes to make it even more dark, and really by the time you've got to that, you can see you're coming so far away from an original major scale, which is just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, that you can see why it's so hard to listen to. If you think of your major scale, your basic 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 as, a very easy to hear scale, something that, you're very familiar with and you will be from the day of birth, then every single time you alter it, so flatten it, for example, any note, you're going further and further and further away from it. This is about as far away as you can come without altering the 4, obviously, in some respects. So that's why it sounds so dark. Now then, let's just summarize all of this before we move on, shall we? So we've got the Locrian, which is the 7th degree, which is a diminished mode, and there's our formula. Okay, so what I want you guys to do now, before the next 2 lessons where we're going to very much start grouping these modes, okay, I just need you to go through all 7 modes. Make sure you're familiar with the names, so when I start shouting out the names, you're comfortable with it. And also that you're familiar with what degree each one of the names is on, and which ones are minor, major, and diminished. Okay, so a fair bit of just recapping for yourself to do to make sure you've got that. And next time, we're going to really take a big step into understanding how you actually use these scales.